It's time for another Dice Tower review with Z Garcia.
Hey everybody, today I'm taking a look at Coldwater Crown here, a game where the setting is a fishing competition. You are going out there trying to catch the most and biggest fish. Come on back, submit your catches, and see if you win the whole thing. You are earning points throughout the game utilizing a sort of worker placement action selection mechanism, all right? So let's take a look at how this works. Then we'll come back. I'll tell you what I thought of it. Here we go. So here's what the game looks like set up. Besides what you can see here on the board, there are going to be 4 of these Master Angler cards shuffled up, drawn, and placed face up on the board as choices for the players. And then everyone gets a player board that they are going to fill with some of these bait tokens. The 4 area here with 4, the 3 area there with 3. The other 2 begin the game empty. Everyone also gets one of these tokens here, and as well as one of these tackle box tokens that have different actions on them, all right? So what you're attempting to do is, of course, catch the most fish, get the most trophies for your fishing contest here. And each turn is going to go like this. The first thing you do is you place the token you are holding onto one of the open locations on the board. There are 7 locations. 2 at each of these fishing areas, so the shore, the lake, and the river, one of which, by the way, starts filled with a token with a 1 on it. And then the port action over here, that would be the 7th location, all right? So let's take a look at my board here. I'm going to just bring this into the shot here. If I play here where the blue is, that action means I get to remove 1 piece of blue bait from each of my areas. Good. I'm going to do that. I get this one out of there and this one out of there. I throw them both in the discard pile, and that's it for my first action. Second action, you remove a token that is not the one you just placed from somewhere, and you also take that action. And so, for example, I'm going to go down here. I'll remove the green token, which means I can take 1 piece of green bait from each of them. So I cannot get both of these. I just get the 1. Also remove it from there. And then this token is flipped. To show the 2 side, I put that in front of myself. I'm done. It's the next player's turn. When the turns come back around to me, the first thing I'll do is I'll place the 2. And placing a 2 is slightly different from placing a 1. If I place a 2, let's say back on the green there, I would remove every green from my board. All of it. Just like at all the other places that are colored. The port is the one thing that's different. So let me move on to that in just a minute, but let me explain what happens when I completely clear one of these out, okay? So let's say I remove green, and then lastly, let's say I happen to place a token there or remove one, and I get this purple off of there. So I took it off of my 4 area, and it was purple. Both those things are important. We go to that fishing area. Green, purple is the shore here. And I take a look at the area that matches my player board, which was the 4, which is this area here. That's the fish I catch. And so I grab it. I would take a look at it. This token here should be face up. I check the weight. It tells me the kind of fish, what species, its weight as well. If I match the weight with the mystery weight token here, I immediately show it to the other players, and I take this token. It's worth 1 victory point. In this case, I did not. This is 5 pounds. The mystery weight we're looking for is 6 pounds. I take it, I hide it, and I keep it in front of myself, all right? And then we are going to refill this. So that's how you catch fish. You remove the last token, figure out what color it was and where on your board it was. That's the thing you catch, all right? The port is going to allow you to do one of 2 things. If you play a 1, you do one of the 2. If you play a 2 on there, or remove a 2 again, you can do 2 of those actions, the same one twice or 1 of each. They are, you can replenish one of the zones on your board with tokens, bait tokens here from the bag, and you pick which zone you want to do. So I could refill the 4, for example. like so. That's a great pull. Very lucky because I can get rid of all those reds together. And then the other option is I can draw one of these Master Angler cards. Again, some of these are face up, and they look like so. So let's say, for instance, that I take this one and I place it in front of myself. From now on, as I remove these tokens from my board, I can place them here instead. And once this card is completely filled, I've now caught something else. And I'm going to set it aside, remembering that I've caught this, all right? And so you can be working on multiples of these at the end of that, throughout the game, all of that. You're going to get some points for them at the end of the game. You might also get some bonuses during the game. So that's how the port works. Pretty straightforward. Let's talk about all of these locations that give you victory points on the board and how those things work, okay? So the end game scoring ones are these at the different locations. The other ones all happen during the game, all right? So for example, this one right here, the small species challenge. If you catch a flounder, a roach, and a perch, you take the top one remaining. And the numbers are going to dwindle. These I already explained, which is as soon as you take one, say I catch a 6-pound fish, I take this, and then we immediately reveal the next one. And it might go to whoever catches that next. It does not retroactively work, of course. The one over here is for whoever gets 8 different species. First person to do that gets this, and so on. This one here is for whoever gets to 12 fish first, and that's also the end game trigger, by the way. If one of these cannot be replenished from the deck, or someone takes gets to 12. And then finally, these two are for Master Angler challenges. This is for 3 of the same card you have caught, and this is for 4 different ones. And again, those tie into these. So if I get 3 crabs, boom. If I get 4 different things, that one there. And that's how that works. Once you hit the end game, then you are going to come back in and submit fish to the different contests. And you are going to look through all the ones you've caught and submit just one of each kind. So if I have 2 trouts here, I just submit one. I would take a look at them both. This one's 6 pounds. This one's 4 pounds. I'm probably going to submit the 6-pounder because we're going to add up all the fish. Again, one of each species is what I can submit. And whoever has the largest weight there gets the 5 points, second place, and so on. However, and that happens, by the way, at all 3 of them. However, I might take the smaller trout because at the end of the game, for every tag that matches this tagged fish picked randomly at the beginning of the game, you also get 1 victory point. So I might sacrifice the 2 pounds for the guaranteed 1 victory point. All right? So that's how that works. Besides that, each of the Master Angler cards is going to be worth 1 victory point at the end of the game. You add up all of these tokens, red tagged fish, Master Angler cards, and that's your final score. That's most of the game. The only thing I have not talked about is these special tokens here, which you get. You start with 1 and you get more when you empty out your 5 area on your board and do some fishing. The 6 area, by the way, the special power there, these 2 don't have a special power. The special power there is that when you would fish, you can instead choose to take the top card from the deck. That's what the 6 does. The 5 is going to get you a token, and there are 4 different kinds of tokens. They allow you a little manipulation. So you've got the line and the rod here. Let's say I'm going to fish there. I can use one of these 2 to fish. It is the line. I can use the line to fish instead of in this spot, one of the other ones here. And I can use the rod to fish instead of in the 3 spot at the lake. I can take the 3 spot at one of the other places. That's what those do. You also have some lure, and you have another one, which is the reel there. And these are going to allow you to manipulate the bait on your boards. You can move one around to, you can swap 2 rather of different colors, allowing you to empty it off of your board more easily. And then the other one just simply lets you remove 2 of the same color from your board. And that should give you a pretty good idea of how the game works. That's everything going on. So let's go back up top and let me tell you what I thought about Coldwater Crown. So there you have it. I was very intrigued when I first saw this game. The theme, while not something that is particularly amazing to me or mind-blowing is different, and I like that. I like that it seemed to be a neat theme. I like that this stands out. And the mechanisms read very well. And indeed, they are very good mechanisms. The idea of placing a token, pulling a token back. The way emptying your board of bait works, it's clever and it's very well done. And so this game is well constructed. However, having said that, I did not really enjoy my plays of it. Because the game is too samey and it's a little long for what it is you are doing, which those two things kind of go hand in hand. It's too samey because you are doing it for 90 minutes. And that's unfortunate, because I do like the mechanisms. I do like the way that everything dovetails into each other. The angler, the special cards there, the way the bait will come off of your board and go onto those. And the way you can go for that as your big push, or try to be real specific with what you're fishing as your big push. Try to go for 8 different species as early as possible, or not worrying about that so much. That's clever. And again, the mechanisms here are neat and they work well. But you do the same thing over and over and over and over, and you empty your board, you grab a fish, fill it, empty it, grab a fish, token out, token in, token out, token in. And it's just, after, I'd say about 45 minutes of that, pretty much every player at the table was sort of done with the game. I would recommend the game with fewer players, actually, because it's going to be a shorter game. So therein lies a little bit of a caveat, right? And there is a solitaire version in here, which is, it's a dummy sort of, it's a computer-run sort of second player that steps in for you. Nothing I would recommend, I wouldn't necessarily say run out and get this for a solitaire experience, But ultimately, this one kind of disappointed me. Again, my expectations were high. I was hoping for a good game here. And what I got was, the threshold of a good game. It's almost there. I needed a little more to do on my turn that wasn't the same thing I did the last 12 turns. Because that's all it is. There are 2 kinds of things you do, right? Move tokens off your board or put more on. That's it. I mean, there are 8, 2, 4, 7 locations out there to place your token. And 6 of them are the same thing. It's almost there, but not quite. So unfortunately, this is a pass for me. I can't really recommend it. If you adore the theme, if the overview looked really appealing to you, then maybe. But be aware, the overview is just a few minutes. The whole game is going to be 90 of doing the same thing, okay? So again, with a little heartbroken here on my end, but Coldwater Crown is going to be a pass for me.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.